Gabriel Stinson says, how are COVID-19 things where you... Oh, this is kind of open to the group. How are COVID-19 things where you guys are? Or maybe it's... Maybe by guys it's referring to me. I don't know. Anybody can answer this, I imagine. But as by way of reminder, and I put this in the notes below where the stream's embedded, if you want to make sure you're specifically prioritizing getting my attention, put at Christian Geek Central, no spaces, somewhere in the text of your post. And for me, it gets highlighted in orange, and so I'm more likely to see it in my peripheral vision and not miss it. Let's see here. Gabriel goes on to say, in Central Illinois, it seems to be getting better. Still have to wear masks in stores and restaurants. Hope you are all safe. Thank you, Gabriel. Joel is commenting on Arizona, so I don't need to touch on that. Basically, it's a lot better. Masks no longer required in many places. Optional for kids at school. Oh, and our time for this game is done. Things seem to be taking a turn for the better, but we've had times in the past where people got too relaxed because things were turning for the better, and so it kind of lapsed and went back again. So we'll just kind of see what happens. Let's see here. Okay, so that's some interaction. That's between you guys. I don't need to comment on that. Hey, 79 D-Train. Welcome. Says, join the stream late, but enjoy your content, man. Would definitely watch you do a Let's Play of Divinity 1 or 2. Oh. Now, when you say Divinity 1 or 2, do you mean Divinity Original Sin 1 or 2, or do you mean like Divinity? Because those games are from a franchise called Divinity, and I actually own the first one. It's a PC RPG series. But in any case, that's cool to hear. That's cool to hear. Thank you. I don't think I would do it the first one. I just quote unquote finished that not too long ago. Finished it because I gave up on the last boss fight. I was like, I'm watching this on YouTube. It's doing some dirty stuff here, in terms of its trickery, and it felt like some cheap stuff that it was doing to me as a player at the end there. Okay. All right. So the royal arms are mystical weapons, as we wrap up this game here, embodying the power of the rulers of old. Usable only by Noctis, these weapons are incredibly powerful, but cost HP to wield. Ooh, I don't like that. Try not to get carried away, and have curatives such as potions on hand to bring Noctis out of danger. Note that royal arms do not induce link strikes. All right, interesting. Sword of the Wise. Well, then they gave it to the wrong guy. Well, how do I get out of here? Is this door open? I don't know, but I don't have to know right now. Oh, yes I do, because I can't save.
That's
Talk.
not the only power your forebears left you. Your journey's just begun. Another tomb lies close by. I suggest you head there next. There are tombs scattered across the land. All are on dangerous ground. I'll go with you. For the time being. Not only to help, but to get a measure of your strength.
Oh.
So, just how many of these powers are out there?
There are 13 known royal arms, each enshrined at a royal tomb, though we know the location of only a few. I've enlisted the help of the hunters. They comb the land in search of the lost tombs.
Where's the one nearby you mentioned?
Kikatrick Trench. We know there to be a crypt, deep inside the tunnels.
Okay. What? Still can't save. All right, we're powering through. Maybe if I get into an open area or something?
Safety first, everybody!
Come on, Noctis.
Focus now! Take him out one at a time!
You haven't lost your edge one bit, Marshal.
Still got an edge at any rate.
Save? Nope. Still no save. I wonder if I gotta get out of this danger area. Remember there was a danger sign Let me go back to the other side of that danger sign. Oh, saving checkpoint. Very good. All right, well, just the same, I want to get out of here and see
Focus.
if my...
This way.
Oh, come on. All right, well, they gave me a checkpoint. If they won't give me freedom, at least they'll give me a checkpoint. All right, so, yeah, that was Final Fantasy 15. And, yeah, it's not out of the question for me to come back to that. It's always a question of, is there something else that I'll want to play more in the meantime, you know? But anyway, if that's in your backlog, hopefully it gave you a reason to reconsider getting to it. Let's see here. Number 7 on our list. Let's see here. Actually, let me do this real quick. All right, Ravenous Spectre says, it's terrible in Divinity Original Sin 2, where if you activate the cheat sheet they have, it disables trophies, frowny face. I'm happy to say I am immune to the power that trophies might attempt to hold over me. I just don't care about them. The only time I can see that being kind of irritating to me is like sometimes trophies, you know, we're talking about squeezing all the enjoyment you can out of games that you haven't, you know, quote unquote finished or haven't gotten all the fun out of that you can. Trophies, I'm never interested in like going for all the trophies just to be able to say I got all the trophies or to get the platinum or, you know, whatever the currency is on your console of choice. But sometimes I'll look at them, like I remember doing, I think Skyrim was the first game that I did that on. I was like, let's see what the trophies are. And I would look at something and go like, oh, that's an interesting little goal to give myself in this big world. Why don't I go do that? You know, and it provided just a little bit more of a reason to stick with it a little bit longer. So yeah, they do have a small amount of value for me on rare occasions, but other than that, they certainly don't have any hold over me. But yeah, I'm trying to think if I remember the cheat sheet thing they have. I'll have to look and see. I've just started Divinity Original Sin 2. I don't even have it installed right now, but yeah, I'll have to look and see if I can find what you're talking about next time I'm in there. Ravenous Spectre says, "Ah, you have a PS5." And let's see here. Oh, and then the next thing is a different topic. Yeah, I mean, I've said this before. I'll say it again. I don't think anybody should feel bad that they can't get their hands on a PS5 for whatever reason. There's only two reasons that I look at my PS5 and I'm like, oh, it's cool that I had this. One is the load times on a number of games are improved. They are not evaporated. And in some games that I would really like the load times to be improved on, I'm like, why is this not improved? You know, so it depends on how the game was originally built, whether or not the PS5 will improve its load times. Yeah, I mean, because it will improve the load times of some games that have not been re-optimized or updated to take advantage of it. Just the nature of the SSD will improve load times on some games that are never going to be patched again, you know. But not consistently, not across the board. So it's nice when it works, and so I do appreciate that. But I think the bigger deal for me was I was able to hand down my PlayStation 4 to my boys as a surprise Christmas thing and set up kind of a video game play area for them in an upstairs room, which that I was only going to be willing and able to do if I was able to transition to a PS5 before Christmas. So I was able to do that. But still, right now, like Returnal, I forgot to mention this on the podcast. I'm not going to review Returnal. That's not the type of game for me. It's really hard and punishing, that kind of thing, you know. So there's just not any games right now or in the foreseeable future that like can only be played on next-gen consoles that would make me want to really have a PS5 right now. So yeah, for what it's worth, and it might sound like it's really easy for me to say, I recognize that, but for what it's worth, I don't think you're missing out if you don't have a PS5 right now. And I think that's probably going to be the case for a good while. Let's see here. Ravenous Spectre regarding trophies and achievements says, I don't blame you. They're internet points, which means nothing really, LOL. Internet points. That's a great way to describe it. I'll have to remember that. Oh, and thanks. Options in the title screen. Okay, cool. Kyle Fritz says, now that I think about it, I have Portal 2 on my backlog. That's a great game. Great game. Especially if you've never played it. Like, I would love to play that again for the first time. You got fun ahead of you, if that's the case. Let's see here. Gabriel Stinson says, the new Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War will be when I'm really bummed about not having a PS5. I mean, I can see that potentially. We'll have to see how it shakes out with the graphical performance. Like, how different really does Horizon 2, or whatever they're going to call it, Forbidden West, I think it's called, Horizon Forbidden West. You know, what is the visual difference really on that? For me, HDR is not appealing to me. I tried it on my TV, and I just don't like it. And so all that's left is fidelity to mark the difference between PS4 generation and PS5 and load times. And so it just hasn't been a real big leap to me. Let's see here. Yeah, and Ravenous Spectre is right to point out those games will be on the PS4 also. That's why that's what I meant to get at, and then I rabbit trailed. It's going to be you will be able to enjoy, I think, both of those on the PS4. Okay, so let's get back to our list here. Number 7. Next game I'm going to play is Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. I'm actually going to be playing the Re-Reckoning version, but if you combine the backlog, the people that have it in their backlog, both the original release and the Re-Reckoning, it comes up to 3,300 people on How Long to Beat have Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning or Re-Reckoning in their backlog. It's got a score of 80 on Metacritic. Let's see here. Just want to make sure I was recording over there. Sometimes I have these weird thoughts like, have I not been recording this whole time? IGN said of the original release, if you're looking for bang for your buck, Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning has it in droves. Then again, if you're looking for an immersive adventure backed by combat that doesn't only put other RPGs to shame, but in fact many action games too, Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning has that as well. So yeah, really cool game. Big open world. Let me get that fired up here. I should remember to check my timing this time before getting into this game too deep. All right, check. Oh, we got to change it. Check. All right, I am behind. All right, let's try this. Check. Oh, close. Check. Oh, that's pretty close. Check. All right. Let's try this. This might be close enough. Check. Oops, hang on. Not looking at my thing. Check. Yeah, we'll call that good. Bom, bom, bom. Bom, 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 bom. If I'm singing right with the music, then my timing is pretty good. All right, find Orwin Dunn. I can't remember why I'm looking for Orwin Dunn, but playing as the wizard Elderast. An old enemy of the Sparrows named Orwin Dunn has been spotted around the Rathir Quays. He may well be the Sparrows' killer. Well, if there's even a chance he killed someone, he must die. Let's see. Do I have to leave this place before I can get there on the world map? Maybe. Okay. Oh wait, do I have to sail there maybe? Is this on the is this on one of the expansion islands? Oh no, it's just in this building. Yeah, I don't really want to do any expansion material right now. Because I want to showcase just the base game. The base game, it's just tons and tons of great content.
Send a hound out to the piers, and of course now we're right where he wants the both of us, you and I.
All right. I know you're the killer, Dunn.
Me? Oh no, no. That'd be the captain of the watch. He's the one who did them in. Likely sent you here too. Got you out of the way, see? So we could slaughter the last of them leisure-like. Clever bastard he is.
You can't fool me!
Well, that is rich. Maybe I can't, but old Talibor can. And did. Now someone has to pay for his crimes, so it's you or me. And I do prefer my odds. You're not going anywhere.
Die! Burn! Ha 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 ha! Very nice. Boy, Eldorast is more buff and athletic in this world than in any game world he has been in before. I gotta tell you. This letter is missing any signature or mark of authorship. I know how you can get back at the scum that betrayed you to the City Watch. There are still riches to be had if you clear your name. Return to Rathir and I'll show you. When you get here, stay in the quays and I'll come to you. I don't know. Does that mean that guy was actually innocent? I wasn't really paying attention. Let's add the junk. Rugged Warrior says, Orwin Dunn about to be Orwin Dunn. Does my emphasis communicate the intended spelling there? That's what I was going for. Yes, something about this world infuses me with athletic prowess. Nice, a dungeon, right? Oh no, wait, this is lower tunnels. I don't think this is actually a dungeon. But you know, this game is not a Skyrim competitor. It doesn't have the kind of dialogue and role-playing interactions that Skyrim has, but it has a lot of the same depth in skills as like Oblivion. And the combat really is something for an RPG, whether it's a turn-based or even an action RPG. Doesn't really have any business being as enjoyable as it is. It's, yeah, quite fun. And this is a game that, you know, honestly, I did lose interest in before, like, not long after completing the main story mission. Like, sometimes in games like this, big open world RPGs, I will try to explore every location that can be explored before taking on the final quest. Sometimes because you'll get locked out of the opportunity to explore those places, depending on the game. That happens less and less. But no, this one at some point on the 360, I just said, like, no, I'm ready to be done with this, and so I mainlined it to the story. But it's the kind of game where
Miserable rag pickers, lot of miserable rag pickers. let all I've worked for slip from my hands for the likes of you.
Are we gonna fight? What's going on here? I guess they're gonna let me talk to you guys. But it's the kind of game where I can come back to it, and in bursts, it'll be like the game I'm most excited to play for like a week and a half at a time, and then I'm like, okay, good, itch successfully scratched, uninstall, move on to, you know, whatever other game I want to get to. But this is a game that I do seem to keep coming back to and having these really enjoyable spurts of it.
You're the one. Do you know what you've done?
Joel Nelson asks, if a game is available on both PlayStation and Xbox, which system do you prefer playing it on? Well, I've never had both a PlayStation and an Xbox of the same console generation. I went PS2 to Xbox to PS4 and now PS5. This will be the first generation of consoles that I anticipate I will have one of each console in the same console generation. So it'll be the first time I'm faced with that choice, and I've thought about that. I think that it's going to depend on the game content. I think that with Xbox, we're seeing that they are less interested in true blue exclusives and more about having it first and best on their console. They've used that phrase before, that it'll play first and best, you know, on Xbox consoles. And with their purchase of Western RPGs, basically, like as a genre, they have purchased the genre of Western RPG. Because they've got Obsidian, who makes Pillars of Eternity, and who that team made Fallout New Vegas back in the day, and they're making Avowed. They bought In Exile, which makes the Wasteland games, and of course, most notably recently, they bought Bethesda, which makes the Elder Scrolls games. So they own basically the genre now of Western RPG on consoles. And I suspect that even though those will not necessarily be exclusive, that they may have features on them. We've already seen that with the Elder Scrolls games, that modding is less limited on the Xbox X, the Xbox One X, which makes me like, crap, you know, a little bit. So I think Xbox will probably be my exclusives machine. Like I play exclusives on there. Well, the same could be said of my PS5, that like if it's an exclusive, of course I'm going to play it there. So it will. I think what I'd like to do, so that both systems will last as long as possible without pooping out on me, is to try and keep the number of games I'm playing on them fairly balanced. I anticipate that with both machines, they're going to play and look about the same. Yes, there will be nitpickers that will notice differences or that will claim victory because of differences or whatever. I think when you're nitpicking on the level that notices the difference between these two consoles, you might as well be a PC gamer and just like really go nuts and drop all that kind of cash, you know. But I mean, maybe you prefer mouse and you not to play with mouse and keyboard, so that's understandable. But so I think I'm going to just try and whichever console I've been using less, if I have a choice, get the game on that console. To give my other one a break, so that the lifespan of each console, the wear and tear on each console, will be spread out a little bit. Because I want to get value for my dollar. I don't want these things dying out on me. All right, so seems I found the murderer. I killed him, you know.
What? And you didn't murder Dunn?
That's what I was talking about. I'm done. I killed.
We all protect our
Wait a
lives
minute.
when we must. I couldn't have this waif and her lot telling what they'd found. Which is why it's so good that you came. I'll blame their murder on you. Say you died in the struggle.
Oh, geez. Surrounded me. No, you're not. Boom. Nice. Love that meteor spell.
It is over now, thanks to you. And to think I only learned the cause of all this nightmare moments before he arrived.
Well, it's over. It doesn't matter now.
But it does matter. He was selling prisoners as slaves, smuggling them out to merchant ships in the dark of night.
Okay.
Evidence. Drowned street urchins, criminals, even a missing sparrow, and Talabor's name everywhere. But most importantly, his greed threatened our way of life. Now even this city's trash can kill you.
They can't kill me. I am quite powerful. Did you see me a moment ago? With the meteor? From the otherworldly dimensions of power that I conjured it from? No? Let's see here. Perry343 says, hello, everyone. Hello, Perry343. Thanks for coming. Let's see here. Let's give ourselves a quest. We won't do the main quest right now. Let's do... Drowned Forest. That sounds like an interesting location, unless it's an expansion one. Let's see. Let's see where it is. Oops. Oh no, it's in the base game. Great. Alright, let's go check it out.
Thank Lunala that's over.
Yeah, I did put up a review for this. I put up a video of the original game, talking about why it's still cool. So if you just do a search for Kingdoms of Amalur on my channel, you'll find me talking about what I dig about this game. Oh, and I forgot to reset my timer. So let's see here. I started playing this at about, I want to say, 10 after. So we'll say in about 32 minutes is when I need to switch over. Go. All right. Yeah, contentment, though, that's... Just getting back to the theme a little bit. That is a challenging beast, and it seems like something that I only learn when I'm forced to. It's not really a discipline that I willingly take on. But when there's some cause that I need to learn contentment, that's typically when I'm going to discover contentment, the discipline of contentment. Although there is, I think, ways in which we can discover contentment in a roundabout way by pursuing pleasure without any holds barred. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. I thought it was taking me here. Let's fast travel. Can we? Yes. Let's go there. You know, you can just, like, when you have a big backlog, it can be, like I discovered this, you can go from game to game and say, well, let me try this one now. No, that doesn't give me the buzz I was hoping for. Let's jump over to this game. No, I'm not feeling the wow factor on that one. Let's jump over to this game. And I just end up jumping from one game to the next, expecting from them what I shouldn't expect, you know? And Ecclesiastes has been such a good book for me to read in recent years, because it points to the reality of how ultimately there's just a weariness in pursuing pleasure. That, like, there is a lack of satisfaction. In fact, the more we pursue pleasure to the detriment of other things, the more elusive pleasure becomes. Maybe in the initial pursuit we get what we want and it feels good, but like entering into that mode of life and in some kind of habit or routine, we can find ourselves becoming numb to things that ordinarily would give us enjoyment. And that's because we're, I think, made for kind of peaks and valleys in the pleasure we experience. I think that even in our glorified immortal bodies in the new heaven and new earth, we will have peaks and valleys in things that we enjoy and take pleasure from. I think that our valleys are still probably going to be better than nearly any positive, pleasurable, fun, enjoyable experience we've had in this life. Maybe they definitely will be leaps and bounds better than the best experience we have in this life. I don't know. But I do suspect that we'll have these kinds of ebbs and flows of exhilaration in the things that we enjoy. And so we might as well look to embrace that and find the value in that here and now. Let's see, Prismeer daggers. Oh no, junk. What's this? Bleeding resistance. No. Gold. Alright, good. Have any of you guys experienced that kind of entertainment burnout where it's like, boy, nothing's fun. Nothing's fun. I'm trying to have all this fun, and nothing is fun. And you maybe realize after a time it's just because you need to take a break from that certain type of entertainment. Like maybe a break from video games, or a break from comic books, or whatever the thing is, board games. If so, I'd be curious to know like what the thing was that you burned out on, and maybe what you did instead of that for a little bit. Is there a crew dock behind me? Okay, no. There's these big nasty bad guys. They're not bosses, they're kind of like mini bosses. And they are like nasty John Carpenter's The Thing looking uglies. And they can really bring the pain to you. This game I'm not playing on easy. I really wanted to... The first time I played through the campaign and a lot of the side content, I played it on easy on the Xbox 360. But I really wanted to feel the need for potions and staying on top of using potions more, potions that give me buffs to damage or defense of certain types. Because I wanted to pump points into the alchemy skill, because I realized the more I'm needing potions, the more satisfying it's going to feel every time I pick up an ingredient out in the open world. Otherwise, it just kind of becomes monotonous after a while and pointless to be going around and picking up ingredients. But when I kind of feel the need for those potions more often, then out in the world, it's nice to come over to one of these and do this. In addition to the little fibrous noise effect, sound effects that it makes. Ooh, that's another thrush over there. Those guys are not a joke either. And I like this mark ability that I have that marks them first, makes them susceptible to damage. And then I hit him a second time and really do nice damage to him. Nice. And that's a skill I didn't even unlock at all my first playthrough as a magic user years ago. So I find that there's plenty of builds, plenty of skills to give yourself something new to explore and to pursue in your character build coming back to this game. Ooh, what is this? No, I think I'm better off. Junk. I mean, it's got better defense, but I typically go for the glass cannon approach. Oh, crap! No, that's not a crew dock, but it is kind of a... Ah, dang it! Okay, let's do this. Let's do a minor steeled curtain. That's just a little bit of defense buff. And... blazing salve. That'll boost my fire damage right, let's give this a go. Pop! Come on now. Boom, there we go. Nice. All right. Kyle Fritz says, yeah, Christian Geek Central, I just fasted from video games. Oh, interesting. Okay. Did you do anything in place of that in terms of entertainment, or was that just that time filled with spiritual pursuits, or just kind of practical activities like work or whatever? Let's see here. Junk, coins, take. Good. I am such a sucker for loot. I usually, in my builds, no matter what class I'm playing in a game like this, prioritize some lock picking, or if there's something that allows me to find hidden treasure. Like this game has skills that'll let you do that. Ooh, damage boost, yeah. I did for a little while. You know, this game also allows you to rebuild, like respec your character pretty easily. It does cost some coins, but once you get deep into the game, you've got coins to do that. It's not that big of a deal. And I did explore for a while, kind of like an assassin, stealthy rogue type character. That was fun too. Let's see here. Junk, what is this? No. Junk, mine, inspect. Made from soft leather. Maybe they mean soft, I don't know. It has several punctures and claw marks, but looks relatively intact. The name Ariel Perian is inscribed on the side. Yeah, that's the person I think I'm looking for. Or their stuff that I'm looking for? I don't know. I'll take that. Nice. Cool beans. Joel Nelson says, I don't really burn out on anything. I have so little time for just me, that I'm not able to put time into something to burn out on it. Yeah, yep, that is I was going to say it's, burning out on something that's kind of a first world problem, but no, it's more than that. It's like it's a decadent man's problem. It's a, like me that has too much time on his hands. Wait, am I going the right way? But yeah, that's actually, that's a good place to be. You're going to enjoy and appreciate your entertainment more because of the pace of life that you have, I would imagine. And I think, just from reading Ecclesiastes, I think we're meant to experience enjoyment in our toil. There's a sense in which we're meant to, in our work, even though it's part of the curse, work itself isn't the curse, but like the nature of work being frustrating and life-sucking sometimes, that's the curse that's rearing its ugly head in our work. But even in this fallen world, there's a sense in which we're supposed to find and experience joy in our toil, that there's supposed to be something satisfying about exerting ourselves mentally, physically, maybe even emotionally in our work, and the satisfaction of expending ourselves, investing ourselves that way, and then having rest from that, going back and forth to like engage. I think that in the new heaven and new earth, we will exert ourselves, that we will maybe even strain ourselves, but it won't have it'll be something we enjoy doing, like an athlete who has trained and is really skilled in a sport really enjoys pushing their body, we won't be sore and messed up afterward, that's an element of the curse. I think there's some things about work that we're meant to figure out how to appreciate and take joy from in this life, and have that back and forth between expending ourselves and then experiencing rest and restoration,
I'm heading to Bunlock with the key to unlock the door. Meet me inside and we'll search for the artifact together.
As long as you don't slow me down, I work better alone. Fritz says, I read the Bible more and got back into comics. Okay, cool.
The artifact will be in the library, near the back of the castle. You lead, I'll follow.
Sounds appropriate, given your station and mine.
To find the artifact. It should be in the library.
Yes, yes. Oh, jeez! Crap! Oh my gosh! Traps! Oh, man, I keep thinking that's a crew dock. Oh, crap! Alright, let's do a little bit of damage defense. Boy, I feel like my dodge is not helping me as much as I'd like. Oh, crap. Oh, jeez. Come on, pop this guy. Again. One more time. Down for the count. Oh, who's left over here? All right. Oh, I should be using my fate energy that I built up. All right, next room full of guys. I'll try to remember to do that. Just junk. Just junk. Let's see here. Gabrielson says, I'm really enjoying... Oh, I want to comment on Kyle Fritz. He says, I read the Bible more and got back into comics. Yeah, certainly goes without saying that having a season or just, the rest of your life engaging in Scripture more is awesome. And I know you said you got back into comics more. Sometimes that there could just be kind of an overstimulation of other forms of entertainment, and so reading can be a nice respite and reset from movies, video games, TV, and stuff like that. Let's see. Gabriel Stinson says, I'm really enjoying not buying games now. I'm diving into what games I have. That's really cool. And then he says to me, I agree. I found enjoyment in working for UPS. So I was talking about what I said about exerting yourself and putting yourself into your work. Seeing a truck fully loaded and helping deliver all the packages, or seeing it fill up as I load it. Yeah. Yeah. I remember years ago when I stopped substitute teaching and talked with Holly about the idea of me giving more of my time to Spirit Blade Productions work and seeing what I could do for her in our lives, in our house, and just the way we organize ourselves to take burdens off of her so that she would be able to, if she was willing, work, 1 or 2 more hours a week. Because as a pharmacist, just doing the math, it made a ton more sense, and she agreed and was on board with the idea and has enjoyed the income we've gotten as a result. But, just 1 hour as a pharmacist, they're paid very well. They're paid very well. And so I started taking on things around the house that were just, frankly, not worth her time. Like laundry and being the primary taxi service for the boys, and just different things, making meals, which I'd already been doing, grocery shopping, just various things like that. And I remember those early days, I've really lost the pleasure that I found in that. And I only have moments where I recapture that, and I should really aim to recapture that. But there was something in those early months and even years of doing the laundry for a family, having never done that before, that was very satisfying. It was like, I'm doing this, I'm I'm providing this thing that my family needs, and making meals, this is something that my family needs in order to do all the things that they have to do and that they want to do. And so there's something satisfying about that. I've never been in a position to be the income provider for our home, but doing those things I have found satisfaction in. And yeah, and there can really come a point when I'm on vacation for a while, or even just I got a couple days in a row where for some reason I am able to really play as much as I want, where it becomes empty and I'm like, I want to get back to work. I want to get back to doing something that's going to be productive, that's going to serve other people in some way, it's going to serve, ultimately my family in some way. I think I need to go through this door. Will it open? Yay! Okay, here's a question for you guys. Under what circumstances are you most likely to buy something at release without waiting for it to go on sale or something like later on? And I've got a related follow-up question, but I'm just curious. For me, if it's a game that's part of a franchise that I've really enjoyed in the past, like a Far Cry game or an Assassin's Creed game, although that wasn't the case with Valhalla, but that was because I was able to rent it and realize, oh no, this isn't doing enough that's really super exciting and and new, and I still haven't finished Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but like if it's been a while, okay, yeah, this is what it is. If I'm done with the previous games in a franchise that I really enjoyed, and the new one is coming out, those are the circumstances under which I am most likely to buy a game at launch. Yeah. But, and I think that's more of where I'm returning. There were some years there where I would find myself buying a game even if I wasn't done completely with the game that came before it, because of just the allure of the shiny and the new. And part of that also is because of my particular situation where I'm reviewing games, and so I'll think to myself, well, this game, I might not be able to get it right away if I try renting it from Gamefly. I want to get this review out as soon as possible so I can, chase those clicks. And there's a good chance I'm going to buy this one eventually anyway. Let's just get it now, But I think now lately I've been slowing down from that. I've been more content to rent and really, choose carefully which games I buy immediately at launch. Ooh, I got plenty of lockpicks. What are you oofing about, Pater? Sure and sure. Jewbanger says, I'll sometimes buy indie games at launch since they're typically cheaper and I'm more interested in supporting more niche games. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. I can see that. Anything here? No. I got turned around. Is this the right way? Yes, I'm going the right way. Let's see here. Gabriel Stinson says, hype from a past game. Yes, sequels in my favorite series. Yep, so we got a similar situation there. Yeah, it's hard to curb the hype. Even if there's I think another thing that can contribute to it is if it's I could be playing a game that I'm currently enjoying, but if the game that I have in front of me to buy it potentially at launch is of a different type of game, even if I'm really enjoying the game I'm currently playing, then that can tempt me to buy that other one. Even if I could totally be happy continuing to play nothing but the game that I'm really enjoying right now. And that's what I'm trying to get away from. I'm trying to get away from that feel of just because something is different and shiny and new, and it's different enough from the thing I'm really enjoying right now, I want to just be content to wait more and more. Just to wait, Pater. Especially since, oh crap! You know, my backlog has grown. There are almost certainly games in my backlog that I will never play. I will just die without playing them. And I want to get real far away from that. Oh yeah, that's good. What does this do for me? Oh yeah, mana pool. Yeah, we want that. Joel Nelson says, I never buy a game at launch. I read the reviews first and then determine if I want it. I want to know if the game has a lot of problems before purchasing it. Yes, yeah. Yeah, that's why, especially, you know, in the last 10 to 15 years, when developers have realized not only can they rely on patching it later, but it is fiscally advantageous to them to get it out faster and then let the purchases of the people willing to beta test the game for them fund their completion of the game and their polishing of the game, you know. Oh crap, I had a 90% chance, come on. Let's do it again. At least I didn't get cursed. Sometimes you get cursed if you fail that. Gabriel Stinson says, if it's a brand new IP, it really helps when it is similar to games I like. Story-driven, open-world RPG, action-adventure games. Okay, so being a brand new IP can be can be tempting or lead you to feel the hype more. How about this one? Similar question. What circumstances have led you to impulse entertainment purchasing? So not necessarily a new release, but like, you know, you weren't thinking that in the next 7 days you would buy a game, and then sometime in that next 7 days you find yourself buying a game. For me, it's sales. It's sales. It started with GOG, good old games, GOG.com. I would just see these crazy sales and think, oh, well, I got to take advantage of this now. Who knows when this kind of deal is going to come around again? Little did I know that they would always come around again. They would keep coming around again. Almost every deal. It was the rare exception that would not come around again, you know, for a long time, if ever. Ooh, nice. Yeah, I want that. And then once I got wise and slowed down with that, then consoles caught up with that in the digital marketplace. They started having crazy sales. And these consoles, I mean, at least PlayStation, they typically renew the sale weekly. So it's a different batch of games that are on sale. And so I have this ritual where I check for new games on Tuesdays and check for sales on Wednesdays. Now, for a while, their store hasn't updated properly, or so it's like the sales don't really go live. Now I just wait on Wednesdays. I check both new games and sales on Wednesdays, because that's when they seem to really go live. And it's a ritual, like when I'm done with work, or sometimes during my lunch break or something, I will just browse through all the games that are on sale just to make sure there's nothing I might want to take advantage of. And that's how I learn about new games, because I'll see a cheap price on a game. Oh, that looks like it might be a fantasy RPG of some kind. Well, let's look at this. Let's watch reviews. Let's see if I might enjoy this. And then and now a lot of times the France and cheap gene will talk me out of that purchase. I used to, in college, browse for hours and knowing what I was looking for, knowing the game or the movie I was searching out. And then ultimately, after browsing, I would go like, oh, it's this price at this store. This is back when you used to walk into stores. which, I stopped doing long before COVID. Okay, let's at this store, it's this price. I'll bet I can get it cheaper if I drive over here. So I drive over here for a little bit. And I start zigzagging through stores looking for the best price. By the time I figure out what the best price was, I go, okay, it was at the second store I was at, or maybe it's the one I have right in my hand. And I'll think, yeah, no, I don't even want to pay this much. And then I'll go home. I work that sheep gene so much. So sometimes it does work in my favor, but other times I think it makes me interested in sales and ultimately leads to purchases that I would not have made if I wasn't scouring the sales. And so sales and just checking the new releases. And admittedly, checking the new releases, in part, the reason I've done that is because of content creation. I'm like, I don't want to miss something, maybe a little hidden indie. In fact, I'm going to be reviewing a little indie game that I got a code for that I'll be reviewing next week, a little indie RPG. And so for content creation purposes, I like to stay on top of even small indie game releases that come to PS4. But that introduces temptation to me. And so I can find myself making purchases I was not planning on making. And usually they're small. Usually the dollar amount is small. But it adds up, And not just adds up in what it removes from my bank account, it adds up in what it adds to my backlog that I may never get to. No, not good enough. Junk. Let's see here. Rugged Warrior says, this is a really interesting and I think probably relatable observation for a lot of people. He says, I noticed my depression plays a factor in me randomly buying a game. Yes, I've heard that called retail therapy. And that's not necessarily, even just attached to depression. If someone's, maybe doesn't have kind of like a diagnosable depression, but just is having a down day. I've certainly been there, where it's like, crap. Or if something that you were looking forward to lets you down, some disappointment or something, and you kind of get in a funk. Like, I want to buy something. I want to have some fun experience, And I mean, I've never dealt with any kind of like actual depression, and so I'm not going to down talk the possible applications of that as a supplemental thing that a person could do. I mean, I think I've interacted with you long enough, Rugged Warrior, to know that you're not doing that as a substitute for dealing with your depression. Definitely, a person wouldn't want to do that. But I can see it being like something that you would go to shake yourself out of certain thought patterns. I've gone to entertainment for that, not necessarily a purchase. I think probably sometimes maybe a purchase. I don't know. I don't remember. My memory's crap. But, oh crap! I'm getting distracted talking, and I'm about to die. Let's do this. Wait, no, dang it. Now there's only one guy left anyway. Crap, I missed my opportunity to do my special fate power. But yeah, sometimes entertainment, let's say, I've had days where I'm in a funk, and I've done the healthy things, I've worked through those thoughts. I've processed it. I've spent time in prayer and just putting that on the table with God and asking for His help and for His guidance. And you do the things that are healthy and right for you to do, and then you come out of it, and there's still like something about the funk you can't quite shake, and you just need to break those. I mean, there's some aspects of cognitive therapy that come into play here, where you're breaking thought cycles that contribute to ongoing emotions or behaviors, and so you just need to shake yourself out of it. And so there can be some legitimacy to that. But it's what to watch out for is if it becomes like this really habitual type of thing. Yay, no curse. Oh wait, no, I wasn't gonna be cursed anyway. Mine, junk. All right. Good times with this game. Good times. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah. Joel Nelson says, I watched you play Assassin's Creed Odyssey and you suggested playing Origins first, so I bought it a couple of days later. All right, so that's my fault. But that's something, that's in line with what I was saying about reading up reviews, finding out about sales. The more connected we are to content, whether it's the stuff that I'm producing or the stuff that somebody else is producing, the more we hear people talking about games, the more we watch game reviews, the more we're kind of plugged into that world, the more we are kind of exposing ourselves to either marketing campaigns or just the excitement of somebody else. And both of those can be really infectious things. So for sure. Yeah. I said this, I feel like I said this on the podcast. I don't know where I said this recently, but, I think it was in the last In Search of Truth thing that, like, there's a sense in which, the kind of work I'm doing is self-defeating in some ways, because ideally it may be the case that someone, if they, if they're following maybe as a Bible study that I'm doing, it might lead them to realize I need to take a break from some geek stuff that I'm over prioritizing in my life, and that might include taking a break from my content, from Christian Geek Central or Spirit Blade Productions or whatever, And so it's a weird place for me, because it's like that in my mind is a success story of like, I'm losing a viewer, I'm losing a listener, and maybe even losing a patron, or something like that. And so it's a weird place that I find myself in. But absolutely, I would want anyone to feel free and to have my blessing to take a break from me if I am becoming an influential voice of hype in their life. And I don't think that's what you were saying, but that just seemed like a really good jumping off point for me to put that out there for anybody watching my content or listening to my content. Jewbanger says, same deal with sales for me. If I see a past title I skipped with a big discount, I may get it just because it's so cheap. Yep. Gabriel Stinson says, watching videos on older games really gets me excited to buy a game. Yeah. Kyle Fitz says, I have to stop buying Wii games because they are now really expensive. Oh, yeah. And this is where you can, Gabriel's talked about watching videos on older games. This is where you can put marketing campaigns and the excitement of other players to work for you to help you enjoy your backlog. It's totally worth trying. I've done this before. Like, if you're looking at games and considering going back to something, rewatch a review, if you can find one, a positive review specifically, for a game that at one time you enjoyed or you pulled the trigger on purchasing, thinking, I'm gonna like that. I'm gonna like that. But then, you didn't see it through, you got distracted by another game or whatever. Use those reviews, the hype of content creators, or the marketing campaigns. Watch trailers for them and preview materials for them, whatever. All that stuff is designed to get you hyped and to make a purchase. But if you've already made the purchase, you can turn it around and use those things to help you reestablish your contentment with things that you already have. So I'd highly recommend. That's a recommendation I give usually every year when we're celebrating the Summer of Free, which is coming up soon, but seems worth mentioning right now with what you guys are kind of touching on. ChristianGeekCentral.com